Hi there, welcome back to our next video on the UiPath Agentic Developer Training Series. So what are we going to learn today? We are going to learn on building your very first automation on Studio Web. Let me explain the goal of this automation. You will have an input file, and then from this input file you have name and the birthday month. What the automation is supposed to do, it should log into rpasamples.com. I'm going to give you the entire URL and the file. What you have to do, just the automation has to enter the name. For example, it's David, and what month your birthday is. It is July. So I'll go here and select July. And below here, you have something called get name. The moment you click on get name, it generates a unicorn name. If you see energetic raindrop mist. So this is the unicorn name the bot or the automation is supposed to copy and paste it here in the Excel. So this is the automation we have to do, and this has to repeat for all the names that you have in the Excel. This is the goal of the automation. This is the website rpasamples.com unicorn name. I'm going to pass the link in the description of the video. And this is the Excel file. We are going to create it in our Google Drive. I'm going to log into my Google Drive, drive.google.com. And in this folder called UiPath Learnings, I am going to create a file and I will name it as unicorn name iteration. To create a file, all you have to do, click on new and click on Google Sheets and then create a new file. And in this blank file, all you have to do, all this data that you see in this file, you have to copy. So the header should contain name, birthday month, unicorn name value, and put your names or anybody's name you like to keep. Just enter these two values from this column, name and birthday month. Just enter some values and keep the Excel file ready. This is our first task. After you have both the things available on your system, log into Automation Cloud and click on this product launcher button, and then let's launch Studio. Now once the Studio is launched, let's click on create new, and in this one let us select RPA workflow. Once the solution is created, the very first thing you should do, you should provide a name to your solution. So I would say generate unicorn name is the name of my solution, and I'm going to click on this tick mark. Once you have done this, there is an important configuration. If I ask you what are the applications you are going to deal, your answer is you are going to deal with a website called rpasamples.com unicorn name, and you are going to deal with Google Drive sheet or the spreadsheets from Google. So meaning these are the two applications. One is the web application, the other one is the Google Drive. It tells you you have to enable certain integration so that UiPath can talk to Google Drive sheets and fetch you the data. So this would be an additional learning I'm going to show you now. For this, log into console.cloud.google.com and I'm going to hit enter. And here I have signed in to my personal account. After this, I'm going to click on this breadcrumb symbol here in the console.cloud.google.com. And here I have an option called APIs and services. I will highlight this and I'm going to click on library. In the library, let's search for spreadsheet and hit on enter. Now when you do this, you will find the Google Sheet API. What you have to do, you have to click on this Google Sheet API and you can click on enable. Here there will be a button called enable for you. Just click on enable and wait for a minute or two. Then you will get a check mark which will say API enabled. After that, after your automation is done, you don't like to keep your personal account API open, you can come open that and click on disable API. This is the first thing. Let's go back and then one more step, go back And here let's search for another thing called Drive. So you have to enable Google Sheet API, first task. Then you have to enable Google Drive. This is the second task. Google Drive, you type, search, and here you will find Google Drive API, Google Drive Activity API. You have to enable the Google Drive API. Click on this Google Drive API. After you click here, you would have a button called Enable. Click on Enable, and after a minute or two, you would see there's a tick mark coming which says API enabled. This is the basic requirement. You have to set it up. As I said, after the automation, if you like to disable it, this is the option. You click on Manage and click on Disable API. Before getting started, keep the Excel sheet or the spreadsheet from Google unicorn name file behind in the background. Keep it open. And similar way, on the other tab, you have to keep this rpasamples.com/unicorn name in the open. Ensure your columns are all written, you have highlighted with some colors, and it looks pretty and nice. So let's get started and get back to UiPath Studio Web. In the UiPath Studio Web, you would see the very first action is a manual trigger. What is that? If you click on this manual trigger and click on change trigger, for example, there are different kinds of trigger. Manual trigger means you would start it, you would run it on your own. You will click on the button to run it. There's another thing called schedule automation. If I click on schedule automation, let it change, and you can see it gives you the option when would you like to run this automation. So for example, trigger every, for example, I would select every one, and here I'm going to select the frequency as day. What it means, the automation is going to run every day, and you can select your time. For example, I would like to run it at every day at, let's say, 4 o'clock, and I'm going to save it. Let me enter a number here. So this means every day I would like to run this automation once. This is called a time trigger. You see, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, like that. This is called a time trigger. Now let's click on this button again, change trigger, and put it back to manual automation. When you put it back to manual trigger, you have to run it on your own. It is not going to start automatically. That is the difference. Once this is done, let's minimize the side panel so that we have ample space to build our automation and looks neat and clean. In this one, I'm going to click on this very first button called Add Activity, and let's look for an activity called Use Application Browser. I'm going to click on this Use Application Browser. Okay, let it install. All right, after it has installed, if you click on this drop down, it is going to automatically detect how many tabs are open in your system. So if you see, it tells you, hey, you have a browser called Unicorn Name Iteration, Google Sheet, and there's another thing called Find Unicorn Name rpasamples.com. Out of these two options, I'm going to select rpasamples.com, and then it will detect the website, it will detect the URL, everything will be automatically noted. If you see, the site has appeared here. Once this is done, inside this Use Browser Chrome Unicorn Name, I'm going to click on this plus button. And in this, let us look for an activity called For Each Row. For each row in spreadsheet. You would see there are two different activities. One for Google Workspace, the other one is for Microsoft 365, which is called Workbook. And for the Google, it is called Spreadsheet. I'm going to select this For Each Row in Spreadsheet activity. Let it install. Now what it is looking for, it is looking for the connection with Google. So you have already enabled the API. So it is going to automatically detect that connection. If you see, my email ID has come and it has automatically detected the connection. After that, it is asking, hey, your Google Drive might have many files. Which spreadsheet or which file are you going to work? So click on this button here. It is going to show you the My Drive. Click on My Drive. And I have kept my file inside a folder. I'm going to click on it. Okay, and here let's look for the file that I have kept is UiPath Learning. There is a folder called UiPath Learning. Click on the folder. Once you click on the folder, remove this name and type the name of the file, unicorn. So you see, I could see my file. All I have to do, click on the file and hit on save. All right, so the file has appeared in the spreadsheet. So it knows it has to go to Google Drive and read this particular file. Then it is asking, hey, your file might have multiple sheets. Which sheet should I read? What do I mean by that? So let me go back. And here, if you see, there is a sheet 1. We do not have multiple sheets. So we have to say UiPath, you have to read the sheet 1. Going back to Studio Web, I'm going to click on this drop down and I'm going to click on the sheet 1. Okay, if the connection is not built, you will not be able to develop this automation. Hence, the API connection is important here. Otherwise, there will be an error while doing the automation. So once it has read it, what next after this? Okay, so it is going to loop through this Excel file and it is going to read the David, Rita, Dexter and all of this. As a developer, it is technically important to see, can I type it first? Can I type David in the name column? Can I type the birthday month and all that? So what I will do here for testing purpose, we will use an activity called write line, and later we are going to remove this write line. So here, let me try to print these names: David, birthday month is July, Rita, June, Dexter, March. So to print it, click on this empty space, and here you would see your activity called for each row in spreadsheet. In this one, click on show more, and you would find something called current row. Expand the current row, and here you would see the column names would auto appear: name, birthday month and unicorn name. You have these 3 things. Out of this, let me select the name. That means I want to print the name. And then let's hit on debug on cloud. Let's see if it is writing the names from the Excel sheet. The moment you hit on debug, you will get this window here. All you have to do, hit on save and debug. All right, so the save and debug has started. And you can expand this just to see what's happening. You see it has went into the website, and then here if you see, it has typed David, Rita and Dexter exactly from the file. These files are provided from UiPath in the UiPath Academy. So you see this file, now it has printed here all the values. Great. Now what is the next step? What if I would like to print the month also, the birthday month I want to print? No problem. What we have to do, just minimize this, and here let's once again select the next variable under the current row, show more, current row, and here I'm going to select birthday month, and let's open the expression editor. So how do you open? You can simply click on this button and click on expression editor. So here if you see, it is writing the name and the birthday month. What I will do, I'll simply give some space here, put a colon and give some space here and hit on save. Now this can give little space while printing. Let us run it again and hit on save and debug. Okay, now you can see it should type the names. The automation has started. Okay, done. Now if you see, David July, Rita June, Dexter March, all these 3 values has been printed here. So you have understood how this works, the printing function. How do you carry the values from the Excel, which variable contains, you got to know. This is exactly the answer is current row dot name, current row dot birthday month. Now let us delete this. This is not required for the automation. Let us remove it. Now what you want to exactly do, the automation is supposed to type these names here in this field. What is your name? What month is your birthday? These are the 2 fields to type and hit on get name. The moment it hits on get name, it will generate a unique unicorn name for the name and the birthday. What we should do, the next activity is very clear. We have to use something called type into. Let's place this activity type into, and here in the type into activity, let's click on it to expand and click on indicate target. This will automatically take us to the application. All I have to do, wait for a few seconds for a couple of things to appear. You see, it is launching. Do not click anywhere at this moment. Just wait. All right, so it has come, and then I need to highlight where the automation should type. So this is the place where the automation is supposed to type. So I've selected the target. Wait for it to act automatically. It's collecting, searching for target selectors. So this is the anchor, means it tells, okay, this particular place where you want to type, it is near to what is your name. It is an anchor. Great. Now all I have to do, hit on confirm. Now it will take you back to your studio, and in the studio the images would automatically appear. Just wait for a second. All right, you can see the target image has appeared. So you exactly know this type into is going to type it in the field in the green section. Now next thing, what it should type, that is important. You said where it should type. Now you should select what it should type. So here in the name field, it should type the name. Again, hit on show more. And here in the current row, I'll expand and I'm going to click on name. It should type the name. Just now we had printed this, right? You know it. It's going to type the name. And we are inside a loop. So first it's going to type David and Rita and so on and so forth. After that, let's add one more activity type into. It has to type the date and the birth month. So instead of typing, let's go back to the application. You see here it is a drop down. So I should not be using a type into activity. I should rather use a select item activity. It should select one of the item from the list. So let's go back. Let's delete this activity, remove, and click on the plus sign. And here let's search for select item. Let me hit on select item and click on indicate target. And here, this is the target I'm going to select. All right, let's let it do its job to collect all the target anchor, target and anchor. All the values are done. All I have to do, hit on confirm. If it is coming green, all good. All right, now what should I type? Again, the same way. You see, it has pulled all the values from that list item. But here we have to make it dynamic. It should type based on the Excel value. So what you do, click on this button and then click on variables. So if you click on variables, it will show you the list, and I should go to the for each row, and then I should go click on show more. I should expand current row, and then I should select the birthday month. So this is what the bot's supposed to, or the automation is supposed to type. Current row, birthday month. Okay, so what happened, birthday underscore month? Why it has happened? Because in your Excel there is a space here. If you see birthday space month, so wherever there is a space, it is automatically going to put an underscore. So both the typing and the select item, select typing and select item is completed. What is the next activity? The next activity here is click. You have to click on the button. So use the click activity and indicate on this button called get name. Okay, so once you indicate and hit on confirm, okay, it has validated and the click action has happened. So it is going to type and click. So until now we have built half of the automation. All we will do, simply run and see whether it's working or not. Very important to time check. Now I'm going to hit on save and debug. And here let's expand this button and let's see if it is going to type all the three names in the application or not. If you see, it has opened the application and it's going to type David July, Rita June and March, and it is hitting on the get names button. So this is functioning properly. Now are we done? Not at all. What is the end goal of this automation? The automation is supposed to get the unicorn name from the application, right? This name it should copy and should type it here in this spreadsheet. Now to do that, what I will do, I will use couple of more actions. So for that, I need a activity called get text. and I'm going to click on the get text activity. Let's expand on this. Click once again. Now let's indicate target. So I have to tell the automation from where it will find the value. I have to tell the position of the value. So the position of that is, it is here. So let me indicate that, and then let me indicate an anchor, and then hit on confirm. That's all. So now the get text is going to have or hold the value. Right now, let's click on the show additional properties to see which variable is going to hold the value. So it has a variable called text value. By default, it generates its own variables. So what we will do, we'll click on this, and we are going to click on create variable. We will create our own variable, and we will name it as generated unicorn name. Okay, this is my variable which I've created, and I'm going to hit on create. So what it will do, it is going to replace this text value variable with our own variable. Okay, so the variable is now created. Okay, now this variable is going to hold the value of the unicorn names. After that, I should write it back to the Excel. So let's minimize this activity and hit on the plus sign. And let's use an activity called write cell. Remember, we are dealing with Google Spreadsheet. So it is important which activity are you going to pick. So here it is very clear. I have to pick the Google Workspace write cell activity. I cannot pick write cell activity Microsoft 365. It's not going to work. So I have to pick the Google Workspace because we are dealing with Google Workspace. If you have a Microsoft 365 account, there also you can try the similar steps what we did here. All right, now you can see the connection has automatically been pulled and the spreadsheet is automatically been pulled. Now let's select the sheet name. If it doesn't happen, you see it is saying no results for the sheet. In such a case, what I will do, I will once again select the file and hit on save. So the data get refreshed, you see, and then click on this sheet, and I'm going to select the sheet. Perfectly fine. Now you can see I have selected where it should go and write. Now it is telling you, hey, where should I write the value? Now this is a tricky part. Why it is tricky? You see, you have multiple cells and it has to dynamically work. So I should be able to type the first value here, second value here, third value here, meaning my cell values are changing. This is a C2. If I click on this, this is C3. If I click on this, this is C4. So meaning this has to automatically write one after the other. So how should I do it? Now for that, before you use the write cell, you have to understand certain concept. So what I will do, let me disable this activity for the moment so that it doesn't work. Under this, let me use a write line activity. I will show you some technical part. In the write line activity, what I will do, I'll click on this blank option or blank space. I'll go to the for each row in spreadsheet and I'm going to expand show more. And here you would find there will be something called current row. Again, once again, expand the current row. Under the current row, here you have something called name column address. So you have three columns, right? Name column, birthday month, unicorn name. Once again, let's see the spreadsheet. Name column, birthday month, unicorn name. Now here, let me go back to the for each. Click on show more, right? And here the current row is already expanded. So here if you see in the current row, you have couple of things: name, birthday month, unicorn name. These are your column names. Under that you have few more things. You see it says name address, name column address, name birthday month address, column address, unicorn name address. Now what are this? This might confuse a person if you are doing it for the very first time. Let me explain you what are these. So to understand what are this, the best way is to type and see what are these. So let me select the let me select the unicorn name address. Okay, and let me select the unicorn name column address. Click outside and click on the expression editor. In the expression editor, let me give a little space here between the 0 and 1 so that it types it with a space, and I'm going to hit on save. All you have to do, let us run and see what output it brings. Very simple way to know what they are. Write it and see what they are. All right, now it is running. Okay, now you will see the automation would start functioning. All right, it has opened the site. What's your name? It's supposed to type David, July. Click on get name, Rita, June. Click on this. Okay. All right. So it is done. Now let's look at the output of the right line. So what it did for the first one, it has typed C2, meaning current row unicorn name address is typing the address. It is the cell is C2. And the next one is column address. One is the name, the current row dot unicorn name underscore address. The other one is current row unicorn name underscore column address. So in the column address, everywhere it has typed CCC, meaning it is saying the column is C. It is just typing C. But the first one which says underscore address, that is exactly typing the cell address, which is your C2, C3, C4. So you are very clear which one to use now. You have to use the very first one, current row dot unicorn underscore name underscore address. This is the variable we have to use to type the output. All right, now let me remove this. I will show you how you should use the right cell. Let me enable it back. Okay, wait for a second and click on this to minimize. So we get a ample of space and looks neat and clean. Now in the right cell, let's expand this right cell. And here in the cell, what I will do, I'll click on this button and then I'm going to click on for each row. I will click on show more. I'm going to expand the current row here. And here I'll be selecting something called unicorn name address. This will have C2, C3, C4. There's an example also on the top. So let me select this. That's all. Meaning every time the loop is running, first it will target C2, next it will target C3, next it will target C4. Now it is asking, okay, what would you like to type? Definitely what I would like to type is the output of the get text activity. And what was the output of the get text activity? Generate unicorn name, generated unicorn name. This is the variable I have to put it here. So for that, click on it and here you would see your variable. Click on that. So now we are done. It is going to write all the values to our Excel file currently, which is blank. Now it is the time to check how our automation is running. For that, let's hit on debug on cloud and hit on save and debug. And let's open this app and look for the final thing. Okay, so first it should type the name like David, July. It copied the unicorn name. Next will type. Okay, so it is happening very, very fast. Done. Now to check whether it worked or not, all you have to do, go back to the unicorn name. You see it has typed all the unicorn name. So with this, our automation, building our very first automation is done. Try this out and let me know whether you are successfully completed this exercise. Please do comment and do let me know. And once you are done, now it's time to move on to the next topic in the series.